Hey all, I'm genuinely torn about this and need some clarity. Every year our family has a reunion where different members host. This year it's my younger sister's turn. She's been vegan for about 3 years and is quite passionate about it. We all respect her choices and make sure there are a good variety of vegan options whenever we have family gatherings. When she announced she will be hosting, she also said that the entire menu would be vegan to align with her beliefs and that it's a chance for the family to try something different. Some family members were excited, but others, including many of the older folks, were pretty upset and felt like they were being forced into her lifestyle, even if just for one meal. I spoke to her privately and asked if she would be open to including a few non-vegan dishes for those who aren't keen on a full vegan menu. She got quite defensive, saying this was her chance to showcase veganism and that for one meal everyone can give it a go. I respect her beliefs, but I also think that forcing an entire family to adopt her choices, even if just for one meal, isn't fair. She's now upset with me for not being supportive and says I'm not respecting her choices. Am I the idiot? Update. Wow, lots of good thoughts. Thought I would answer a couple of questions here so they're not lost in the comments. 1. There is no set rota. The hosting goes to whoever wants to host the most hasn't hosted before. In this case, she wanted to host. 2. We have managed to come to a compromise where people can bring their own food as long as it doesn't contain meat, which I think is fair. 3. Just for some more context, she works at a well-known UK fast food place, so has no issues handling/preparing/serving meat, although I get that this can be different at home. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. You're the idiot, it's one meal. Okay, fair enough if she spends the entire reunion as a lecture on veganism and actively tries to make her guests feel guilty. That would be wrong. But it's a vegan-hosted party. I really don't see the wrong in her showcasing vegan food there as everyone can eat it. The logic of, we accommodate your diet, why not ours, isn't as sound as you think it is. Her diet has to be accommodated for as her diet doesn't conform to the norms. She wouldn't have anything to eat if nobody actively thought to. Whereas everybody can eat what she's offering, they just don't want to. I honestly just think this is more about it being vegan than anything else. When I worked in a pub, we would write up new beers on chalkboard menus. I remember changing the sign to a new beer. The same guy who had bought it earlier and liked it came in a couple days later after I had added to the chalkboard vegan. I'd forgotten when I first changed it and updated it later. He must have forgotten he'd already tried it and absolutely balked at the idea of a vegan beer, haha. Same thing when I used to hand out free hot meals for Food Not Bombs, which if you don't know is an organisation that uses binned food from supermarkets to use up otherwise wasted food from being sent to landfills. Had a couple people happy enough to grab a free bowl knowing it was from a bin, but as soon as I said vegan would put it down again, haha. It's one meal though, it really won't hurt your family to try out her food. Comment 2. You're the idiot. It's one meal and she's hosting. People act like vegan meals come from Martian farms via teleportation. It's literally just everything you eat except for the meat, dairy and eggs. Honey, if you're going to be weird about it. It's like someone says the word vegan and people forget they have been eating vegetables and fruits for years. Oreos are vegan. There will probably be a fruit tray, some vegetables and dips and some larger family-style dishes. If you are interested in being helpful, let her know some things you think will be crowd pleasers. A burrito bar. Baked beans, grilled vegetables. If anyone is upset, they can do whatever vegans have done for decades and bring a little something for themselves or eat before or after. Edit. If you want to offer some good faith help, remind your sister that a lot of people are sensitive to soy and that she will want to label any food that has unexpected ingredients so nobody eats anything they're allergic to. Comment 3. Honestly, I think you're the idiot. Not in a big way, I get. It's not what you usually look forward to or are used to with meals. But it's one meal. I grew up with 2 vegetarian friends, whole family, and when they had me over, even as a kid, I knew I shouldn't expect or ask for meat. You say you respect her beliefs, but want her to go against them for you all in her own home. Veganism is based on a strongly held personal belief related to their morals, and in that way is similar to religion. You wouldn't go somewhere a Muslim is hosting and expect them to still serve pork to you because you love and eat it. You're asking her to put aside her beliefs for your taste. There is still tons of variety and delicious options with vegan food, so much. Be more open-minded to something different for one meal. If you really expect to just completely hate any meal with no animal products, smash a burger beforehand and politely pick at whatever looks best when you're there. Now for the update. Well, it's been 2 weeks since the family gathering, and let me just say, it was a disaster. My sister's vegan food was actually a hit with most of our relatives. I think she underestimated our willingness to try new things, and there were some unexpected converts. But the real drama didn't come from the food, but from the unexpected fallout of our compromise. So Aunt Carol, ever the traditionalist, brought her famous meat lasagna. She's been making it for family gatherings since I was a kid, and it's a crowd pleaser. Now we'd agreed that no one would bring meat dishes, but Aunt Carol reasoned that since lasagna is primarily pasta and cheese, it would be acceptable. Logical, yes, but in line with the agreement, no. When my sister saw the lasagna, she lost it. Totally. She accused Aunt Carol of disrespecting her beliefs and home, while Aunt Carol insisted she'd done nothing wrong. It devolved into a full-blown shouting match. Family members tried to intervene, but it was like trying to stop a freight train. Then out of nowhere, our dog Baxter bolts towards the lasagna, knocking it onto the white living room carpet. Aunt Carol shrieks, my sister starts laughing, and I'm left to deal with a meat sauce-stained carpet and a hyperactive dog. After the lasagna incident, the family reunion pretty much imploded. Most of our family members left early, citing the tension as too much to handle, and my sister hasn't spoken to Aunt Carol since. Meanwhile, I'm stuck in the middle of this family feud, and am now questioning the wisdom of our compromise. Maybe it would have been easier to just try the vegan food after all. After the dust settled and I looked at the absolute mess, I couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity of it all. Lesson learned. Next time, we're catering. TLDR. The family reunion was a disaster. Aunt Carol brought a meat lasagna to a vegan party, our dog made a mess, and a family feud has ensued. Now for the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. It's common courtesy to respect the dietary choices of the host or hostess when attending a party. Aunt Carol was completely out of line for bringing a meat lasagna to a vegan party, knowing full well that her sister is vegan, and presumably many of the guests as well. It's one thing to not agree with someone's lifestyle, but it's another to blatantly disrespect it in such a manner. Furthermore, the dog mishap is unfortunate, but it wouldn't have happened if Aunt Carol hadn't brought the lasagna in the first place. As far as the tension, that's unfortunately a natural consequence when people don't respect boundaries. Going forward, it might be worth considering a more structured approach to food at these gatherings to avoid such issues. Comment 2. Everyone sucks here. Yes, Aunt Carol was wrong for not respecting the vegan theme of the party, but it seems there were deeper issues at play here. The reaction of the hostess and the subsequent escalation of the situation into a full-blown argument shows a lack of communication and a build-up of tension within the family. It's not about the lasagna, it's about the lack of respect and understanding among family members. Also, the hostess could have been more proactive in ensuring all guests were aware and adhering to the vegan theme, thereby preventing such an incident. The dog knocking over the lasagna is unfortunate, but it's a risk one runs when animals are present near food. Comment 3. You're the idiot. While Aunt Carol should have respected the dietary preferences of the host, it's also important to remember that not everyone shares the same dietary practices or opinions on food. It seems like the narrator and the hostess may have been too quick to judge Aunt Carol's actions without considering her point of view. Yes, the dog knocking over the lasagna onto the carpet was unfortunate, but it's also a reminder to be more careful around pets during gatherings. Also, the fact that most of the family members left early, and there has been ongoing tension since the incident, suggests that there may be deeper issues at hand. Perhaps next time, instead of relying on humour to diffuse the situation, the narrator could play a more active role in resolving the conflict. Now for the next story. I, 32-year-old male, am getting married to my long-term girlfriend Gemma, 30-year-old female, at the end of November. Now Gemma and I are having a small wedding with only close family and friends invited. This is mainly because we don't want it to be an inconvenience to others, and choosing a venue is really hard due to Gemma's allergy. Gemma is allergic to dogs and is terrified of them due to a freak accident when she was younger. That's also when she found out she is allergic to them. While her allergy is not deadly, even when taking anti-allergies, her face would get significantly swollen, have red marks all over it that are visible even with heavy makeup, and she would constantly sneeze. Lockdown was a blessing in a way that she could wear a face mask that was helping with allergies. She is still trying to wear face masks to help her, but can't always do it inside as people immediately think she is ill and don't really want to have us in their restaurants, cafes. And now, to the issue. My sister Kate has diabetes and has a service dog named Lenny to help her. I absolutely adore him, and Gemma is not scared of him either. However, due to Gemma's allergies, I've reminded Kate not to take Lenny to our wedding. I was dropping some parcels for her this week as she was away, and they were sent to my house. I believe my future wife should be able to enjoy her day without the swelling, which would be hard to avoid due to the venue being quite small and private. Gemma gets the reaction, even if there's a dog in the same supermarket, even if it doesn't touch her. My sister has reminded me that he is a service animal, and I can't ask her not to take him, but I have told her he is still a dog, and being a service animal doesn't miraculously cancel my wife's allergies, and she knew about them from the start. I'm not asking her not to take him to any family get-togethers, I am just asking her not to take him to our wedding. My sister and my mum both called me a jerk and are not talking to me. They have threatened not to come to the wedding, which I said is fine as I value my wife's comfort more. But still, am I the jerk? Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. So, your wife is supposed to get swollen and gets hives and sneeze and generally be miserable on her own wedding day. A wedding like this one doesn't take place without a bride. Guess who is not strictly essential to this wedding? Your sister. If they are okay with the bride being miserable, then these people are not interested in celebrating you as a couple. They can stay home. And please send them this post so that they can see from the comment just how awful they are being. Also, given that it is only for a few hours, and depending on the severity of her condition, is it possible to work out a solution? Like she constantly checks her blood sugar during the ceremony and then goes home after that? Or has a designated person with her to check on her and administer insulin or food when she needs it? I know that it is not the same as having a dog that can anticipate the changes in sugar levels, but it is worth thinking if there are alternatives. ETA, not the idiot. Comment 2. So what's your sister's solution? Having your future wife suffer at her own wedding? Is this some kind of dominance play? It's true you can't ask someone to not bring a service dog, but you can uninvite your sister. You have to stick up to your wife, and it's good you are doing so. I'll predict the future now and say that you'll have to do that more often later on, because your sister and your mother will blame your wife for choosing her stupid health over your sister's dog. Not the idiot prepare for more fight in their future. Edit. Second language error happened. I mean, you can't ask someone not to bring a service dog, as in, she can bring it to public places by law. Asking, of course, is always possible. It made sense in my home country language. Comment 3. Cool. Kate can't come to the wedding and also can't come to your house. These two have conflicting needs, which means having to decide who takes priority in a situation. In Gemma's wedding, Gemma's home, Gemma's events in general, that will be Gemma. At Kate's home and Kate's events, that will be Kate. So when it's Kate's event, Kate's home, Gemma can take medication and wear a mask or not attend. When it's Gemma's event, Gemma's home, Kate can leave her dog home and monitor her diabetes in other ways or not attend. And your mum needs to mind her business, not the idiot. Now for the update. Okay, so you won't believe what happened. We decided to proceed with the small wedding despite Kate and Mum's threats. They didn't show up. I was devastated, but Gemma insisted we should have our day despite the family drama. But here's where things get interesting. Midway through the ceremony, we hear a commotion outside the venue. Gemma's face went pale. I knew it before I even turned around. Lenny. Kate had shown up with Lenny. I was furious, but Gemma, she surprised us all. She took a deep breath, looked at the dog and then at Kate. She asked if Lenny had been groomed recently. Kate nodded, a bit confused. Gemma then asked me to hold Lenny's leash. She popped an extra-strength antihistamine and gripped my hand tightly. She stood there next to me, with Lenny a few feet away. There were a few sneezes, a couple of red blotches, but she stood through it all, smiling. Yeah, she and Kate aren't best friends now, but they're talking at least. Mum's still pissed at me, but she's also proud of Gemma. Truth be told, I'm still furious at Kate, but I can't help but admire Gemma's strength. Oh, and the best part, we found out later that Gemma's faced her fear not just for our wedding day, but she's been secretly attending therapy sessions to work on her cynophobia, fear of dogs. She didn't want her fear to dictate our future, how we attend family gatherings or whether we'd ever get a dog. But hey, one thing's certain, we're not getting a dog anytime soon. Now for the comments. Comment 1, not the idiot. You and Gemma made a decision to have a small wedding, which is your right. It's a celebration of your love and commitment to each other, and it should reflect your wishes. Kate's choice to disrupt the ceremony with Lenny, fully aware of Gemma's cynophobia, shows a lack of respect for your decisions. It's commendable that Gemma handled the situation so gracefully and even used it as an opportunity to face her fears. However, Kate should have respected your wishes and not tried to force a confrontation. Comment 2. Not the idiot, but I would encourage you to have a conversation with Kate about her actions. It sounds like she might not fully understand the magnitude of the fear Gemma has been working to overcome. Although Gemma managed the situation well, it could have gone very differently. It's important that Kate recognizes her actions were not supportive or respectful. At the same time, it's great to hear that Gemma has been proactive in addressing her fears, and it's clear you respect and admire her strength. Comment 3. Not the idiot. Not the... The fact that you're not planning on getting a dog despite Gemma's progress shows that you're both making decisions based on what's best for you as a couple, not just what others expect or want from you. That's healthy and shows a strong foundation for your marriage. You have every right to be upset with Kate for her intrusion. But remember, it's important to communicate these feelings constructively. It's clear that Gemma is making strides in therapy, and her actions at the wedding were a testament to her bravery. Continue supporting her in these endeavours. Now, for the next story. I, 25-year-old female, met Dave, 26-year-old male, in college. We dated, everything was great. We got engaged and moved in together. Within 10 months, I realised he had a serious issue with masturbation, laziness and some other stuff. Sue, 25-year-old female, has been my friend for years and was supposed to be my maid of honour. She was upset about the breakup, but one day called and said Dave asked her out. This was a few months after the breakup. I'm not a gatekeeper, I just said, Sue, he's not a good guy. You're like a sister to me, and I wouldn't want my sister involved in the same situation I just got out of. I added some situations. I said, hey, I'm not perfect either, but the relationship was far from balanced and was so toxic. The ring or apartment didn't help. She's a grown butt woman, and I told her to do what she wanted, but seriously. She said she understood. Next week they started dating. I just removed myself. I had blocked my ex and saw he sent me a message on socials, but blocked and deleted all of it. Now, a year and a half later. Side note, I caught my ex trying to mess with my birth control once, which made my intimacy drive trust just fall, and was a big domino in our breakup. He wants kids, yet can't bring himself to shower more than once in 3 days. She called me crying. They're now engaged, with the ring I gave back to him, and she's pregnant. She's at the end of her line. He doesn't help with the house and pays little on bills. He told her his pregnant girlfriend to go donate blood if she was so worried about money. I let her cry for an hour. How he's lazy and refuses to work, his negative attitude, and how he's sexting bots online, but how it isn't cheating since it's AI. How lazy and shitty he is. She even retold stories that I told her of what he did to me. I felt numb to listen to it and just thank God it wasn't me. This was what I was afraid of. This is why I left him. At the end, I just mustered, Sue, I told you this would happen when you started dating. Not like a sneery jab, just an emotional, honest one. She hung up. She hasn't tried to contact me since. Am I the idiot for trying to tell my BFF how my ex was when they started dating and being unsympathetic now that the same things I told her are coming true? Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. The moment she went out with the guy that was so awful for you, but no big deal to her, she stopped being your friend. She knew everything going in and deluded herself into thinking it would be different with her. I bet she also encouraged you two to break up because she secretly wanted him and could fix him, not the idiot. If she won't get herself out of the situation, I would cut contact TBH. And if you want to be particularly messy, open all those attachments right in front of her for the first time. I'm sure they're all weenie pics too. Comment 2. Not the idiot. It was weird for her to want to date your ex-fiancé. Most people would not do this. Additionally, it's weird because she knew the reasons you broke it off. She made a host of poor decisions and now she is pregnant. She needs to dump him. You gave her all the information she needed about this guy and she ignored you. She is an AH. Your ex is an AH. Comment 3. Not the idiot. How good a friend was she really, though? No good friend goes out with an ex a few months after a breakup. Dollars to donuts that they were already F-ing, and that's why she was so invested in you leaving your ex. She thought he was the prize. Now, for the update. It's been a month since I last spoke with Sue after that bitter phone call, and a lot has happened. I'm trying to process everything, but it's been tough. Sue's pregnancy has become complicated due to her stress levels. It's a high-risk pregnancy now. Dave hasn't changed a bit. He's still sexting other women online, and his laziness seems to have reached the peak. He skipped several doctor appointments that Sue had, leaving her to manage everything on her own. Sue reached out to me again 2 weeks after our last conversation. Her voice was weak and shaky. She was clearly exhausted. She told me she had found more explicit messages on Dave's phone from different women, some even congratulating him on the baby. As much as I'd like to say it didn't hurt, it did. She was supposed to be my maid of honor, my best friend, and there she was, stuck in the same mess that I'd once found myself in. Sue said she's considering leaving Dave, but she's scared. She doesn't want to raise a child on her own, and she's afraid of what other people will say about a single pregnant woman. I wanted to comfort her, tell her everything will be okay, but I found myself at a loss for words. The worst part is, it seems like Dave is enjoying the attention from other women and not taking Sue's pregnancy seriously. He's rarely home, and when he is, he's either sleeping or glued to his computer screen. He doesn't help her with anything, not even the simplest tasks like getting groceries or doing the laundry, and with her high-risk pregnancy, she could really use his help. I've been trying to be there for Sue, despite everything. I can't help but feel partly responsible for her situation. But at the same time, I can't help but feel relieved that it's not me dealing with Dave's immaturity and irresponsibility. It's a hell of a roller coaster of emotions, and I'm just trying to hold on. I wish Sue had listened when I warned her about Dave, but what's done is done, and all we can do now is try to move forward. Now for the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. Emotionally, this is an incredibly tough situation to be in, but logically speaking, you are not responsible for the actions of Sue's partner, Dave. Sue is an adult, and it was her decision to be in a relationship. She is also responsible for her choices, such as continuing to be with Dave despite his behavior. It's natural to feel guilty considering your close relationship with Sue, but ultimately this is not your predicament to resolve. While it's admirable that you're trying to support Sue, do remember that you are not obligated to fix her situation. She needs to make the choice that's best for her and her baby. Comment 2. No idiots here. It's clear you care for Sue and are trying to do your best to support her. It's also evident that Sue is under a lot of stress and is struggling with a difficult decision. It's important to remember that while you can provide advice and emotional support, only Sue can determine what's best for her and her unborn child. Instead of feeling relieved that you're not in her situation, maybe it would be more helpful to facilitate resources or professional help for Sue. She is dealing with a potential breakup, a high-risk pregnancy, and an unfaithful partner. These are heavy issues that may require more than just a friend's support. Comment 3. Everyone sucks here except Sue. Dave's behavior is absolutely unacceptable, and it's understandable why Sue is considering leaving. However, it's not fair for Sue to dump all her problems onto you either. You're her friend, not her therapist. It's great that you want to support Sue, but don't forget to set boundaries. You're allowed to feel relieved that it's not you in this situation, and you're not the jerk for feeling that way. It's human nature to feel grateful when we see others in a worse situation. But it's also a reminder to offer help where we can, without sacrificing our own well-being. If you liked this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.